Hello, AC Keeble here. I hope everyone's having a good time. This video has come just on the eve of the general election here in Britain. I brought this topic to the attention of this video because I thought it would be a good time to start telling you about my autistic conservatism. Well, where do I stand on? Where are we now? Well, I've just been working on preparing for this election. I've got all a new logo for my autistic conservatism activism here. It features an infinity symbol with a torch in between it on a round circle of 2 tones of blue. The blue represents conservatism, and if you look closely, you'll notice the infinity symbol is in a shade of blue and silver. The idea behind that is it is representative of a blue sky with a silver lining within it to look out for a positive and bright way ahead, and the torch represents my bright creative ambition, intelligence and gifts to give to the world, lighting a way to prosperity and hope and self-determination. You can buy this, you can now, for any autistics out there who support conservatives or any type of conservative ideology, whether it be republicanism or national conservatism, liberal conservatism or whatever, anywhere in the world, you can buy this badge from my online shop on zazzle.co.com, which will allow you to buy this badge in any currency around the world, shipped directly to your address for you to take out onto your campaign trails wherever you go. Now, this general election has become an opportunity for me and a number of other autistics to perhaps come out of the closet and share with the world what autism and conservatism has that is compatible with each other. Now, I want to start by talking to you about something that happened this weekend on Facebook with another fellow autistic who happens to be based in America, and she's not political herself. Her name's Jessica, and she shared my autistic conservative artwork on her page, which prompted quite a crazy, hysterical reaction from some of her followers. However, although she and I do not have the same type of politics with each other, we both believe in the right of self-expression and diversity within neurodiversity, and that we should embrace difference of thought and diversity of thought as well. Well, thank you very much, Jessica, for bringing that up and giving me some idea to make this video, to bring and to work on this post, which I recently wrote on my blog, ackeeble.co.uk. Anyone who would like to follow my adventures, feel free to subscribe to my blog right away, and there will be you'll find a link to buy my book, A Puzzle in a Tunnel, and if you would care to sponsor content, there's a PayPal link to donate and chip in so I can fund my campaign and for any other adventures. Right, let's take a look at why autistics should support conservatism and reject socialism. Well, the concept of conservatism is that it represents individuality and creativity It works to support the aspirations of the individual and grants them the freedom to make money or to share that creative idea with the world, whether it be an invention, an artwork, or a scientific discovery. Conservatism supports in civil rights and upholding traditional values at the same time. Some autistics and other disability advocates believe that what we should fight for politically and in the civil discourse is to promote the welfare and the support of welfare for the disabled by upkeeping the welfare state and what it can give to keep us from going poor, and of course for keeping the needs of our healthcare in order. But I'm not that kind of autistic advocate. The political movement of neurodiversity has been hijacked by the left over the last few years, because they want us to support their campaign to serve their agenda. This morning I read this post by another disability activist who declares that he's not a socialist, and he talks of where changes in the world for the better are what a collective majority have always wanted, but this is one thing. A minority within that collective have sought to achieve their own ideas, but they get shut out and silenced by the collective because it disagrees with them and they only want what's best for their objectives. Now, let's see. Oh yes, the victimhood mentality of disablement is a corrupted ideal perpetrated by the left to make us dependent upon the welfare state. But not all disabled people are welfare dependents, and I think it's unfair that one disabled person who is less able than another disabled person should get prioritised in a way that the more able disabled people should be shunted into obsolescence. I had that kind of support when I was growing up, where I was frustrated and held back from achieving my ambitions because, well, I was denied and refused by condescending, obnoxious leftists that were not interested in what I had to give to them, but only interested in getting people to serve themselves. Many people with Asperger's, specifically myself, have special talents and have heightened areas of special interests in certain subjects, and with those, and you can use that knowledge to put it to a career or to benefit society in a way that has never been tried before. And with that, we can show that by supporting neurodiversity, we can allow those with aspirations to shine a bright light on the world to make things change for the better. Conservatism embraces this gift and gives them the freedom to empower the creator being the autistic mind. And the autistic mind functions individually, not collectively. There is no such thing as a collective brain in any sense whatsoever. In terms of the major difference between capitalism and socialism in terms of disability is that socialism supports residential care, residential institutional care for the weak and the needy, but denies them the right to be mobile in what they desire individually. Capitalism raises vast amounts of wealth and funds to allow for the people who with Asperger's to get better off in society by allowing them to achieve their own aspirations. If I was given a government grant to start a business, I could use that to show my creative talents and abilities instead of having to save up from the peanuts that I get in welfare handouts from the socialist state. Now, if we can... Now, if I can just remember a point of this article. Now, let's see. Going back to my own blog, I've written this post entitled "Conservative Aspies Supports Self-Determination." Conservative autistics believe that our brains and our talents can make a better world, and in doing so we can also lend that support to less able-bodied autistic people, like those with heightened sensitivity or impaired motor functions. Now, I've been accused by some of my fellow disability activists of being a supremacist or an associate to Nazi-inspired eugenicists. Well, I find that really, really fatuous and absolutely incredible. I mean, me a Nazi, or even the Conservatives a Nazi, I'm not the one who supports a political party that believes that the Holocaust was excusable to allow for the killing of the Jews to reduce wealth inequality in this world. Look at the way Labour's social and civil policies work. They only allow one type of person to succeed, whilst all the others should suffer. Consider the way they've been bashing Jews. In the minds of leftists, the Jews are rich bastards that ought to be cold or kept a leash on to stop them from getting better than the working classes. Bullying's I'm actually a very proud supporter of the Jews, and conservatism, autism and Judaism has actually got a number of things in common that unite in mutual harmony to create a better society. No one should diss the Jews in that vile and disgusting manner, like in that way that anti-Semitism has flourished in Labour. For one thing, the Jews are an incredibly creative and inventive race. And, like autistic people, when they get chastised and chased out by the pogroms over hundreds of years ago, progress in this world was stagnated and kept from better advance in society. Einstein was a frustrated and eccentric thinker whose brain was also on the autistic spectrum, and he rebelled against his teachers and gave the world a new understanding of physics and how the universe works. He didn't become a genius because he served or was a good boy to his teachers, or even to his country's expectations. For one thing, they resented the intelligence that he had, and later, when the Nazis came to power in Germany, they too dismissed his intelligence, choosing the collective groupthink of the systematic destruction of the disabled and the Jews, and in effect they completely ignored his expertise to build the things that they would have needed. Legend has it that had Nazi Germany not exterminated or expelled the Jews, then they could have built the atom bomb, which could have altered the effect of the war before the Americans managed to build it. It just goes to show that the savage nature of socialism, or National Socialism in the case of the Nazis, stopped them from becoming better than another great country like the United States or Great Britain. Now, perhaps having heard those now, you know why I choose conservatism over socialism, and how it appeals to me as an autistic. It embraces creativity, it embraces my individual self, it doesn't try to correct or fix the way my brain is wired, or even how I have been made out to be. It lets me, and they've even been welcoming to my ideas to bring to their party as well as to their philosophy, to show how people with autism can excel in this world. And besides, some famous autistics were actually right-wing themselves. You ever heard of Abraham Lincoln? The President of the United States, who introduced the anti-slavery bill from the 13th Amendment in 1865. He too was on the autistic spectrum. Later researchers who have studied his behaviour and his diaries believe that he had Asperger's syndrome. He had quite heightened intelligence, didn't get along quite well with people. He had a couple of mental breakdowns, and he was defeated quite often in elections, but he had this strong resilience to failure. He just kept going and going and going, saying, "Stop rejecting me, stop patronising me, I've got something to give to this world. Your arrogance is what is holding me back." I don't advocate for autistics to achieve better conditions of welfare support. I fight for their rights for self-determination and their own civil rights, so that they have freedom to live in this world without oppression or persecution. Now, I'm all for supporting the more needy types of autistics out there, but I think it's unfair that I should be shafted into a segregated institution just like all the others are. You know, when I was young, I was offered to go into a council housing by having my name down on the housing list and using my disability to apply for a free housing benefit. I refused it because I didn't like the conditions that the state was offering me. And besides, everything that I've ever received under Labour supporters and socialist-style welfare programmes has done me no good. For one thing, they reject everything good about me that could make me better than what they offer. And you've got to... So, one of my main objectives in this general election are to promote the acceptance and promote the acceptance of neurodiversity, the acceptance of autism, promotion of civil rights, and to give freedom for the creatives, for the creations of neurodivergence in this world, and to help them to earn better income revenues by teaching people how to modify jobs that exist at the moment to make them accommodate and work for autistic people. I myself work for a job that accommodates me in this manner. I'm a home-based assistant to the trade director of a trade agency called Africa House London that helps to sponsor and develop direct trade investment between the UK and African countries. At this moment, I've been using my skills of my knowledge of earth and environmental sciences and my love of trains and invention and gadgets to promote ideas to companies to go and invest in Nigeria in preparation for this trade mission that's taking place in March next year. Now, look at what I'm doing now and call that a hopeless, useless, pity, pathetic creature who lives in a vulnerable situation. I might be lucky to have a job, but I also believe others should have the fortune to have a job like that. My job is home-based. I work directly from home, talking over the phone and communicating by email. And besides, people with other agendas should also like that idea because, well, it will allow them to show that we care about the disabled and we want to give them freedom of opportunities. Now, I will end this video with a plea to people who want for autistics out there who support conservatism. Don't be afraid to hide who you are. Show people the remarkable intellectual capacity that you have to make a better world. Autistics, conservatives of the world, come out and campaign for your party. As well as for this general election, there's also the London mayor elections taking place in May 2020. I will be campaigning for Sean Bailey. I've shared with him my idea of creating a neurodivergent telecommuting agency so that other people like me can work from home for big companies and bring in billions of pounds more revenue to the City of London and to other companies across Britain. And of course there's also the 2020 presidential elections where Donald Trump will be running for president again. Well, autistic conservatives in America, buy your badge and show off that you support Trump as well. And the same goes for Canadians. Canadians as well, who will also be running for any future political canvassing. You can buy this from zazzle.co.uk and along with some other merchandise including t-shirts, notebooks and messenger bags. Right, don't forget to subscribe and I'll look forward to seeing you the next time we meet.